Welcome to OHBPOV. William Rusty McGibney, Michael Sean Dennis. We're trying a new tactic today, hopefully to bring in some more viewers, some more followers, subscribers. I'm going to turn it over to Rusty right now. He's going to tell you what the topic is he's going to surprise me with today.
Well, first and foremost, we've listened to all of you.
All 8 of them?
No, me mostly.
Okay.
We want to try and take this thing a little briefer, something so that
he does. I don't.
Well, small. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So to get through an hour and a half
elephants?
long. Well, they are tasty.
Okay.
But a lot of gristle. But we want to make it so. Excuse me. Make it so that you have more the ability to watch this in a brief time that you have during the day. Everybody's time is valuable.
I don't do anything brief.
Well,
watch our episodes and cut them up or watch them a little bit and come back to them. You know what I usually do is I usually watch my favorite podcast on the shitter. So it just gives me the opportunity to not be distracted, not be interrupted, and do that. That's what I do.
I don't know. I can be awfully distracted on the crapper, so
not with the phone in my hand. So go ahead.
Okay.
Can you imagine what you used to do in life when you went to the shitter and you didn't have a phone? Can you imagine what life was? Can you think back about how boring that must have been? I don't even remember.
Do you know those personal wipes?
No.
You don't know those?
No,
you can get them at the grocery store, drugstore, all that kind of thing.
No, don't have any personal wipes.
Okay. Well, everyone right now is hoping you carry some of those personal wipes with you because you're just talking about being on the crapper, using your phone, and the two things aren't kind of...
Well, when you're sitting on the crapper and you got your phone, then you put the phone down.
Where?
You take care.
You take dirty crapper?
Yeah, I lay my phone in the toilet. That's what mine's waterproof.
Okay.
And I lay it down, do my business, wash my hands, and move on with my day.
Okay, all right. Well,
so I don't know what your hobbies or habits are, but what's your topic? Let's go.
Okay, first off, here is the new Keep Us on Track.
New.
the finest that could be made in Japan. I got it before the tariffs, so it didn't cost any more. So we're going to set this at 20
Buy
minutes.
American, it won't cost any more anyway.
Well, that's true, but I don't know anybody that makes these little timers.
Okay.
If
Well, I've got a few of them.
Well, why didn't we use those?
You didn't bring it up.
Well, okay. So.
Ooh, I love the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Right there by the microphone. It's going to be very distracting.
I don't know. We're honestly, we ought to try that and see just, like 60 minutes.
Okay, we'll compare.
Except where we 20 minutes.
Can I find out what the topic is so my brain has at least like 30 seconds to try to figure out a response?
I've downloaded the topic to your phone.
To my phone.
To your phone. Yes, your crappy phone. So, open that up. This is, see, honk honk.
So what am I doing? I'm watching a video apparently?
Yes.
1 minute, 16 second video. So are you going to talk while I'm watching this?
I'm going to do a little bit of, background.
Okay, so you tell me when I'm supposed to go.
Well, you go ahead and watch. This is a video of the...
Do I need sound?
Not really.
Okay, go
ahead. Video of the protests that took place in downtown Mount Vernon last Saturday.
Mount Vernon, Ohio?
And probably Mount Vernon, Washington.
Well, too. I'm just curious because the people listening won't have a clue where Mount Vernon is unless you tell them.
Mount Vernon, Ohio.
Okay.
It apparently happened in dozens of cities across the United States.
Okay, and it's on our square, which happens to be round.
Round, yes.
Okay.
It's
okay.
So
pretty interesting. Okay.
Lots of people. I wonder how many.
Lots of people. Less than 100. So go ahead.
Well, my curiosity is, where are the buses that brought all these people in?
Does
anybody look like they're local?
Yeah, you're in Mount Vernon, Ohio. Here's my guess. My instant reaction, as is our way things work here, is unfortunately or fortunately, whatever your take is, Mount Vernon downtown was saved by colleges. saved by Mount Vernon Nazarene University.
That's definitely
saved by Kenyon College.
A topic
saved
for
by COTC. I mean, there are a number of colleges that took over downtown,
but I can't see.
And these are all elite professors. They're all gray-haired boomers. Most of them. I won't say all. I can never generalize.
Okay.
Bad habit of mine. Most of them appeared to be old boomers who are probably elite professors that when the government starts cutting out all the giveaways to all the colleges and all the millions of dollars they pay their professors and
millions of dollars.
I got news for you. If you looked up what the budget was, a lot of these are public information. Look up what Kenyon College spends on professors. Just look it up. It'd be beyond millions of dollars.
I'm not sure how many
these people
professors Kenyon has. What?
So it's a professorless college?
No, I'm
it's
not.
It's like one of the most expensive colleges in the country.
You're reacting to the wrong reaction. It's my point is, I don't know. It's just a very basic thing. I don't know how many they have. It's not like I'm saying they don't have any.
I don't know any numbers. I haven't looked up it. I don't know the topic, so I can't research. But I'm very curious to find out when we come back on the next, maybe subscribers can educate us, how many professors. The point I'm trying to make is those elite professors are very highly paid. And when you stop sending millions or billions of dollars from our federal government to these facilities, then they're worried about their monies being cut back and their bonuses being cut back. They're worried about the United States of America taxpayer money no longer just going to them in a windfall. So that's the people protesting.
Well,
that's my opinion based on what I'm seeing there. There's a bunch of, I bet you more than 2/3 of those people out there are employed by, work at, if that's different somehow, one of these colleges or universities. And right here, look. Okay. I know Gambier's in Howard, but it's 5 mile, 7 mile, whatever it is.
Gambier is in Howard? No.
Gambier.
Gambier, yes, okay.
Yeah, short of Howard even.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you
well,
for that correction.
The idea here is the people who are there with signs, and I don't know whether you were able to see, don't mess with our Medicare. Don't mess with our. It was the main topics that the left seemed to be trying to.
You meant Medicaid, but I understand what you mean.
Okay.
You didn't mean Medicare. Although
Medicare and Medicaid, both.
But they're very different.
Well, they are.
Medicaid's basically linked to some type of a welfare need. Medicare's basically attributed to age people. Okay.
But it's still the funding. That's what people are worried about, the funding for both of those. For people
so when did that funding go down?
It's not.
When did it get cut?
Well, that's the point.
So they're just bitching about the scary ghost under the bed?
The scary ghost under the bed.
Oh, okay.
They've got their.
So when did they? I guess we're going to a national topic. So because you didn't really give me one. So
Bridget told me to.
Who?
Bridget told me to.
When did she say that?
That we're going to a national topic.
Okay. So
thank you, Bridget.
So, they've gotten off of hate the orange man to now the orange man going to take all your Medicaid and what else? What else were the signs saying?
It's Social Security,
Okay.
Medicare,
Which
Medicaid.
has anybody not gotten a Social Security check?
That's the thing. They're pointing out.
They're projecting.
Well, they're pointing out that Doge and all of his cuts are going
their cuts. No his. There is no his. Doge is a their, not a his.
That's what I said.
You
I
said
didn't say
his cuts.
No,
okay.
their cuts.
Yeah, we got it
I said
recorded,
their
but
cuts.
that's okay. Go ahead.
Doge and their cuts.
Thank you. Trying to alienate one person as if one person has that control and they don't.
Well, the president did give him control over this, but Elon has
Not control.
minions
All
who,
he's doing is reporting back to the administration.
right,
And then the administration is doing whatever they do.
Right,
There's
right.
nobody in Doge
who is firing anybody. No,
nor cutting anything, nor
Right.
putting any money anywhere, nor any of those things. But all of these elite, very well-educated, extremely intelligent people aren't capable of figuring out what a moron can by himself.
So, let me ask you that in our fleeting moments. Why do you, when okay, the people who are on the square box that everybody just sits down and watch, whether it's on their phone or that TV or whatever, are always saying that the people who did not vote for Donald Trump were college-educated people. But doesn't it seem to be reasonable that college-educated people have the most sense of what he is doing going to be...
You would think so, but they're very selfish people.
But
You're taking money out of their pockets.
How? How are you taking money out of
by just what happened to Columbia or whatever there in New York City,
well,
where he has said, no more of the bullshit or I'm cutting off the funds. So that threat of getting funds cut off,
right,
it generates a chaotic fear. We live off of that. That's granted. And then they project and bring up ancillary concerns like, I'm not worried about my well-being. I'm worried about the people who can't take care of themselves. And nobody's shutting their money off.
Agreed. Now,
so it's
but
just
it's still
just politics. So it's just fear.
I really still.
What's your point?
The point is, I still don't get why these highly educated people drumbeat in this manner to say the sky is falling, but they know above anybody that the sky ain't falling.
I think you maybe give them more credit. I don't necessarily think a philosophy professor understands economics, so I don't necessarily believe that just because
don't you think that.
No, they're better equipped to learn. They're better equipped to understand. They don't want to.
Well,
they don't want to. They don't want to learn.
Well,
that's why they all watch MSNBC. That's why they all watch CNN. They live in an echo chamber because they don't want to know anything outside of that. And let me throw something at you that I haven't heard much of that I think I thought of first, but I'm sure I didn't.
Okay.
But do you think it's possible that you've got a lot of these boomers, of which I'm one, I'm like on the boomer Gen X line right there. Mm-hmm. You think a lot of these boomers were just historically Democrats and just over the years were the ones that were protesting war and protesting, different things, that they were the rebels, they were the government's bad, the man's bad, they're taking us, they're screwing. I mean, a lot of those boomers were inherent in the, I'll give you a personal example. My biological father just died this year. He was clearly, okay. Mm-hmm. Actually, he was right before boomers started, but anyway. He was a Democrat. He was an iron worker. He was a steel worker, worked with his hands, and it probably took maybe 10 or 15 years off his life working the job that he did. But he was a Democrat. Unions, okay, labor rights, lack of a better word, slavery, whether that has anything to do with your race or otherwise, it was taking advantage of certain groups of people in American culture. So these people that came up during that, okay, and they were Democrats, fighting the man, rebelling, which my biological father certainly would have been one of those. his dying days was Trump, Trump, Trump. After he fought it in 2015 and 2016, after he hated it, he despised it, the Biden years helped educate him. And the Biden years, despite what news channel they watched or where they got their news, Biden was so bad that it even opened the eyes to people he didn't want to know, didn't want to see. Right. So I'm wondering if a lot of these people, and you see them on TV in D.C., a lot of gray-haired people, a lot of old people.
Oh, going around the square, that's most of what I saw.
A lot of manufactured signs. Soros funded, Soros created, spit out generally these things. That I saw something the other day where they asked the guy what was on his sign, where they asked him what it was, and he didn't even know. He didn't even know what the term was. It'll come to me. I'm old and my brain's bad. But they were asking him what he was protesting. He couldn't even explain what it was that he was protesting. He really didn't even know. They're just rebellion. They're just rebels.
Well, there's a TikTok video that I saw earlier today.
TikTok, what's that?
Well, that's Chinese subversive app.
In my opinion, they already have our info anyhow.
That's not so much of what I believe. It's a data collection thing, but I also think you know the term influencer. Mm-hmm. Okay. What does the term influencer mean to you?
These young generations being
Does it need to be young? Do you not think
I think probably I'm not.
We were just talking about Prince off air. Don't you think Prince was maybe an influencer in his day?
Sure, but differently.
Yeah,
different. I think influencer today, and I could be wrong again. I mean, that's what I'm here for, is to be proven wrong. None of you have the balls or the brains yet to attempt to do it, but I'm still waiting. The influencer in my mind today are the young generation who don't have a job, sitting on their ass, figuring out how to use their phones, videos, TikTok, whatever, to create some type of content that generates followers that want to follow them. My brain, correct me now, I would say that probably what started this, give me the dates, and if I'm wrong, I hope somebody tells me so. But Jackass, the movie, I think that was kind of the beginning, from my experience, my point of view, and what I've done. That Jackass started influencing people, and people started watching that, went to movies, and then I think after that, that's kind of what led. I think that was kind of the beginning of TikTok. Am I wrong?
May have come from, but yeah.
Okay. But I think that's what kind of generated, give those idiots a pat on the back for creating this nightmare we're living in. But I think that's what created people who thought they could influence everybody else by either being doing stupid shit, smart shit, sharing their intelligence, sharing their ignorance. These are influencers now that can reach out to people for free. You don't have to pay to go to their concert like Prince. You don't have to pay to go to the movie like Jackass. For free, you can just be influenced by what pops up on your phone that these people are putting in there. And somehow they're figuring out some way you're trying to educate me on. I'm too old to want to learn, is how they make money from that. But they are. So influencing now is tied to money. So now you have to question not only the validity, but the motivation for a lot of these people who are creating this content as to whether they really believe it or not, or they're just trying to make money.
Well, I'll go. So thank you for your insights on influencers.
Well, my instant reaction, I mean, am
No,
I close at all?
No, what you said is fine, but I guess I'm going to expand on influencer as far as TikTok.
So this is a TikTok subject we're on. Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It just goes to what I had started to say, but I wanted to.
So is any of this shit from Mount Vernon, Ohio on TikTok?
I don't know if anybody.
Okay.
I haven't
So go
looked
ahead.
on there.
Yeah.
So anyhow, TikTok is the initial influencer, because I suppose you could probably say TV was the first.
The news is the fucking, and you say initial. The news is the initial
yeah,
influencer
you could
of
go
all.
back to the printing press.
You
Once
couldn't know
print-
that more now than ever.
Okay, all right. We'll zoom
the
back
news,
up
the
to
press.
now, though. But
Nobody watches
there
the news
was-
anymore. They get their news off
I
their
know,
phone.
Exactly. But there was
They
a girl as part of these rallies. There was a girl that was on TikTok, and she was saying that and she almost the way she was talking and how she was filming herself was a wannabe or a small influencer herself. But she was going on.
So she wanted attention because she wanted clicks. She's doing whatever she can, saying whatever she can, whether she believes it or not, just to get attention.
But see, the thing was so interesting. She was actually just talking about the matter of fact issue that she got paid. How I'm not sure how she said she found how you get paid. It just said show up and see the girl with the blue hair and the nose ring.
Well,
So-
she'd had a whole bunch of them to sift
and
through,
she-
depending on where you're at.
That's exactly what she said. She said, I figured I would probably see a lot of those, but actually it was just her. So she found the gal with the blue hair and nose ring, and she gave her instructions, and after the rally was over, they got their paychecks. Now, whether that went to like a Venmo account or something, I'm not sure, but
Follow the money.
It was just so matter-of-factly that she just put this out on TikTok and just said, "Oh yeah, I went down and got
That's
paid."
being naive, I guess. She doesn't understand it well enough to be afraid of ruining her next paycheck that she's going to get.
Well,
so she's
the thing I'll probably liken this to is there on the left, there seems to be so many more people that have to be paid to show up to a rally, to hold pre-printed signs up and say I'm against or I'm for this, as opposed to like the Tea Party that was all grassroots.
You
and
accused
everybody.
me off the air of coming across as being right or Republican. I think as much of the Republicans in Congress that I do of the Democrats. Okay, I'm an independent, and I got news for you. I'm a common sense point of view.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Time's fleeting.
Yeah.
So we've got 5 to wrap this up.
Okay, so that was not fun.
No, I
What
like
was I
that.
just saying?
Yes.
No, what was I just saying? See, huh?
Yeah, you're
I'm an independent.
Yes.
So now you talk
We
to
could have
me.
forgot that.
You talk to me about running off subscribers because you think I come across one way. I don't believe so at all, because I'm not any more in favor or supportive of the Republicans in Congress than I'm Democrats, because they won't follow the money either. The money will tell all the stories. All you have to do is follow the money and start prosecuting people,
true.
whether they're on the left, whether they're on the right.
100%.
And to be clear, the left is just better at the game than the right, because the left don't give a shit whether anybody knows, or doesn't care whether anybody knows that why they're there, or what motivates them to be out there. And I think this girl with the blue hair and the nose ring, I think of the not majority of people that were at these rallies, those were the ones that filled in the rest, and they're there because they're getting paid.
No. Exactly. There's a lot of people
But that's just as bad on the left and the right. The extreme left is no worse than the extreme right.
Oh, extremes, absolutely not.
Okay, but the blue-haired nose ring people, I don't think are massive numbers. I think they're so small, and it just gets all the attention.
Well, that's the thing.
And then the Nazis and all those other people that we don't really know who they are, they just call them whoever they want at the moment to be convenient. Those are the far right that needs cut off the fucking knees just as quick as the far left does.
Well, that's funny you say that.
But where are they all?
Well, that's it.
Let's have a sign off. Let's have a day. Somebody declare a day for the far left and the far right to have a go to DC and see how that pans out. Let's have a double protest and see who shows up on which sides. I'll bet you'll have a ton of fucking people on the left. And I bet you'll have about 3 to 5 people show up on the extreme right. Because even if they are a Nazi, they're not dumb enough to fucking go out there and hold up a sign that says they are.
Well,
because they're even fewer in numbers from my life experience than the extreme left is. But they both need ruled out. They're both worthless. That's my opinion.
The sad part of all this, and we are just about to wrap this up. The sad part of all this is this topic. Yeah. Yes, we'll make, just like Doritos, we'll make more. So the sad part of all this is that you've got the people who, yes, the people who are trying to influence and make us make a decision on something. But you've heard the term preaching to the choir.
Sure.
You know,
will the new generations know what that means? I doubt it. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you know, all right.
What's a choir? What's a preacher?
Uh-huh.
I can hear them asking me that. Go ahead.
The preacher on the pulpit, the choir in the...
They still may not know what that means. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's when... So a belief I've got is that...
About time we got one.
Anymore.
About time we got one.
Anymore, I really kind of think, you know, because you get Schiff and Pelosi and everybody up there preaching to their choir. So the people who tend to be in those camps, in their choir, only listen to what they say. Yeah, and they listen to the sound bites, or not even listen to any of it, because Schiff and Schumer and Pelosi only say the things, they give them the context of why they need to hate something.
They're all on the same page too.
Yes.
They don't do anything unless they're a team effort, unless they all know the same message, the same word regularly.
But see, that's how it is driven into.
But listen,
that's how you drive it into a student in school.
They're smarter than the Republicans.
Well, I know.
Give them credit.
Absolutely.
They're smarter. They stay together. They have no moral backbone other than to follow what they're told to do, mostly by Pelosi.
Well, and Schumer and Schiff and
nobody listens to Schiff. You think any other Democrat looks at Schiff and goes, "Now there's a smart guy." No, everybody on the planet looks at Schiff and goes, "What a retard! How'd he get there?"
Well, okay, then AOC.
AOC's a genius.
Oh, okay.
I don't agree with her policies, but her and Schiff aren't even comparable.
Okay.
Schiff's a fucking dumpster collector, and I mean AOC will make a living the rest of her life running her mouth. Well, if somebody could just get to her to change her policies to where she could actually get on board to actually make something positive happen, I think AOC's got star power. I think she's got following power. I'm afraid, honestly, I'm genuinely afraid that the Democrat Party, and they're not Democratic, by the way, they're the Democrat Party for the bulk of the people who every day, even on the news, aren't smart enough to know what to call them. The Democrat Party is I'm afraid falling to so far left that there is no moderate Democrat Party anymore. Now that could go one of two ways. That could help the good guys who are against them. It could hurt them, because if they all go into that camp, I don't see how they win another election.
Well, you said it just right, that the party, there are so many Democrats that have left the party because the party left them.
Well, Musk, Tulsi, RFK Jr.
Trump was a Democrat.
I mean, you go down through all this. So we got to be careful. I want to be careful demonizing either one,
Absolutely.
Democrat or Republicans. They're all fucking idiots.
Well,
in my opinion, there's all, not generalization. The most of them are idiots. Okay, that I don't think you have a great number of people to choose from that thinks, yeah, that could be our next president. That could be on either side.
I honestly am. I want to go back to what you said, is follow the money. I'm not so sure that they're idiots, or they wouldn't have gotten to the PowerPoint that they're at and been able to keep it.
Probably a bad word to use. I don't think many of them are very smart, because I think if the Republicans who are in control in the House and the Senate right now had the balls they hold themselves out to have, they would start taking down on both sides of the aisle the corruption and the people who have gotten where they got by stealing, however you want to call it, setting up NGOs to take government money, like Stacey Abrams got $2 billion for what? Mm-hmm. How was it spent? Where did it go? What was it for?
Right.
It was a bribe for her to stand up and continue spouting off the idiocy that she kept saying, that Georgia was depressing votes. It's just, but they bought it. So I want both sides to start prosecuting both sides right now. For every Democrat they want to pursue a Republican, because there's enough of them. Okay?
Well,
let's start out with 6 Democrats and 6 Republicans. Get her DOJ, Pam Bondi, get her started. Start moving forward with some prosecutions, because we all know what it happened. We all know it's there. All of us know the corruption exists. Okay, we all know it.
Yes.
You don't need to prove it to us. Do something about it.
Trump is by Elon Musk, and we have to.
Which is why they hate him so bad.
I understand, but
they're threatening their way of life.
But only that small group of power brokers.
But they got Soros money and the loud microphone, yes. And that's where all the part of the news. That's where they all go, and frankly, all the news, because even the right-wing news covers the shit. They don't cover it as much, but they do. I mean, I like to watch The Five. I'm a Greg Gutfeld fan. I think he's entertaining.
That's the big thing about it,
I enjoy getting a laugh about some of this shit. So the only 2 news TV shows that I pay attention to, I record The Five every day, and I record Gutfeld at night every night. I like laughing. And sometimes, in the left's defense, sometimes it's hard for me to sit through The Five. A fifth of the show, maybe not even that, probably, but that one person that they have sitting there that's got the left's position and spouting the left stuff, okay? Even I have a hard time not fast forwarding through her or him. I mean, what's his name is the only one I can really stand. His dad was in the Senate. I think he was at one point in Congress somehow. What's his name? He's a mixed white black guy.
Not Jeffries?
No. I'm gonna look it up because I want to know. Fine. But what I'll do when you're talking. But even I have a hard time hearing their position because I want to like. You know what I mean? Because they're twisting shit, lying, making stuff up. It's the fear, the threat of, oh my God, the house is falling, it's on fire. It's hard.
Right.
So I can understand why the left probably doesn't want to watch other news other than what they just want to hear, because it's hard to get through. You don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, at some point, the only way you're going to get people to start paying attention, in my opinion, is prosecuting people and putting them in jail. That will cause people to start saying, why did he go to jail? Is that, maybe even you could get, maybe even some of the left then might come forward and say, where's it stop? The left is in favor of illegal immigrants. The left's in favor of criminal immigrants. They're in favor of living off the government, more government tip people. How they defend everything common sense right now. How do you defend an illegal immigrant who murdered and raped people? How do you defend, no, we want him back? Where's the stop for them? Are they going to say, no, don't kick Pelosi out? She's 90 and she's got good years left. And just because she stole $200 million in the stock market, don't kick her. How are they going to defend that shit? So prosecution, to me, is the only answer to get everybody settled down,
right,
and paying attention to the actual issues.
Well, see, the thing on that, and we have to wrap up.
Where does it stop? How bad can somebody be and them still defend them?
I know. All right, well, on that, we are going to stop.
Something Junior.
Okay. Hakeem Jeffries?
No. Oh, my God.
Okay. Obviously not.
Okay.
So thank you very much. We'll try to keep these things brief and as much on topic as
brief. I got a lot more to say.
I know, but we'll do it in the next one. That's the Dorito influence. So, we'll get it. We'll get her down. Thank you for tuning in, and subscribe, share, like, all the above.
Harold Ford Jr.
Harold Ford?
Yeah, Harold Ford Jr. And he's the left, that one of the five that always, promotes the left. I got news for you. Depending on the Republican he's up against, I could vote for Harold Ford Jr.
Well,
the guy seems like he's got his shit together, knows what's going on, and has morals and believes in family, and he just has some different he has some different policy beliefs than I do. But you can't believe everything everybody thinks.
How do you think we got Kennedy over to our side? I mean, it's not that he has turned Republican.
I think he just wanted to make a difference in the world.
Well,
I don't think he cared whether he's a Republican or a Democrat or what he was.
That is exactly the point of everything that's happening right now. Trump has pulled together people from both sides, middle, left, right, everything,
to
try and do
the right thing,
best for the country.
Yeah. So how does a person not consider that? How does it? What drives a person? Any person? What drives a person to refuse to even consider what the motivation is and what the outcome potentially is hoped to be? What kind of person just won't even consider it?
And that is another deep conversation, and we will delve into that in our next episode.
We will.
We will.
Okay.
So thank you very much for tuning in, and bye for now.